Great. Sorry. So, like you mentioned, that there were times when you were stressful and you were fearful about the outcome and everything. So, why don't we talk about that a bit? Uh, how did you address your mental health? How, how were you doing? How were you keeping up mentally, and what sort of ways did you come up with to deal with the entire situation and to keep yourself sane?
Huh. See, people talk about positive thinking, but more than positive thinking, I believe in positive actions. You might say, Amrut, I don't do any negative actions, but we end up doing lots of negative actions during the day. And negative actions need not necessarily mean bad actions. Negative actions are also important. For example, binge watching on Netflix is not bad, but we know it is not going to take me even one step towards the main goal,
Mm-hmm.
unless you are going to be the next Netflix and watching the movies to study their algorithms,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so, for every problem, trying to figure out the solution is the opposite of worrying.
Correct.
For example,
Hmm.
numbers were growing on WhatsApp.
Hmm.
Okay, I was so happy. Every day I was getting minimum 500 requests
Wow.
from unknown people that it's a great idea. We'd love to read your book summaries on WhatsApp. I said, wow, the idea is working. I named it as Mission Make India Read.
Yeah.
And then I took a small survey and asked 1,000 people that, did you read my last week's summary?
Hmm.
So every Wednesday, I used to release a new book summary
Yeah.
of a preferably best-selling book.
Yeah.
And you know what? 80% of them said no.
80%. Wow.
नहीं अमरुद थोड़ा बिजी था आई वाज बिजी विद माय ऑफिस वो बच्चों के साथ आई वाज बिजी विद माय वाइफ एक तो बोला आई वाज बिजी विद माय फ्रेंड्स वाइफ casual answers no and that was so disappointed that come on the whole idea was that because you don't get time to read these fat books I am here to help you through 20-minute summaries आपको वो भी नहीं पढ़ना है cool I will read out for you
Okay.
and I decided to record the summaries in my voice
Hmm.
because I observed in the train
Hmm.
the most wasting time is commuting time,
Yeah.
especially in Mumbai. I used to get irritated because my job, I live in Thane, my job was in Nariman Point, at
Hmm.
least 3 hours of commuting. And I
Every
used to
day.
hate it.
Wow.
Yeah, every day.
Damn.
I wanted to make it productive.
Hmm.
And so I thought I observed that everybody is putting those earplugs in their ears and doing listening some stupid songs or watching movie. Said this is an opportunity,
Hmm.
but there was one problem.
Acha.
I am not an RJ artist or a voiceover artist.
Hmm.
Now, will people like my accent, my reading style? Will people laugh at me? Will make fun of my voice? So that was holding me back.
Acha.
Then again, I always say whenever I'm stuck up with the question, what next? I read random. And I stumbled upon a book called How to Be an Imperfectionist by Stephen Geese. I'm
Great.
sure you'll love this book, How to Be an Imperfectionist.
Wow.
And he says that no, imperfect action is better than perfect inaction.
Totally. Totally agree with
Done is better than perfect.
you. Yeah.
Just think big, get started, and figure out the details later on. Correct the course along the way. But we seldom do this. We just, thanks to Google, we collect information for months and years, try to achieve perfection, and come out with an ideal solution.
I know who you are talking about.
Good that you read between the lines. And so, and so I thought, okay, भाड़ में गया मेरा accent. I know we Maharashtrians have the tendency of the typical pronunciation emphasizing on the letter R. Water, fundamental, market. It's supposed to be market. You have to roll
Yeah.
the tongue when you pronounce R. R.
Yeah.
It's not R. I said, okay, at least I can speak English.
Hmm.
So let's get started.
Hmm.
And so I summarized the same book and shared the summary in text and audio.
Hmm.
Nobody laughed at me, even though the audio summary was way away from perfection. And I asked them, don't you feel like laughing at me?
Hmm.
It's full of monotony. It's not the way I'm speaking right now. I had no ideas about storytelling techniques or voice modulation, pitch, high pitch, speed variation. I had no clues about it. But then they said that, no, Amrut, see, you are a chartered accountant. You could have easily made dollars in Canada, Dubai, but you have chosen the path which is least traveled. So the
Yeah.
moment you take a path which is least traveled, people look up to you as a leader because
Wow.
they see themselves in you,
Hmm.
whether it is imperfect. Forget about criticizing. They will support you and give you authentic feedback to improve.
Lovely.
For that, we should be humble enough to take that criticism only as negative feedback, work on those deficiencies, iterate, and give it back. And this is how you achieve excellence and not perfection.